Hi, and welcome to the first video for how to import the home field schedules. So in this video, we're just going to concentrate on the Excel spreadsheet only, so I can give you guys an idea of how everything works. So we'll go through this as quickly as possible. Hopefully you get everything I say here. So the first thing I like to do on the Excel spreadsheet that I open up, it is a CSV file that I'm working with. CSV files do tend to collapse all the formatting. So I just like to open up the spreadsheet here. So just highlighting this cell here, double clicking the inside cell so everything's exposed, and then going into view and then freeze top row. So you can actually kind of glide through here. Starting from column A, the external ID, this is the system requires an external ID. If you don't assign one, it assigns one for you, but the problem is if you're doing a lot of import, re-import, it's always best to just create your own. So I've created my own naming convention here. January 30th for, well, this weekend. So, for subsequent weekends, you would change that to, whatever date it is. The BM stands for boys minis, GM stands for girls minis, and then O1 is just incremental. So typically when I'll set up the first two and then I'll just drag them down to keep it incrementally there. Column B is basically a duplication of column S, the home team. You just need to have something. These are sort of two required fields that the system requires. So for sake of this, I've just been adding the home team into the item name field. Nothing in the item description field. The release date field, this is an important field. It tells the system when to release the article or the item and when to expire it. The problem is with the way CSV's output, they reduce the year to a 2-digit year. The system requires a 4-digit year. So just for sake of this, all you need to do is just highlight the items, go into Format Cell, wait for it to load here, and then, go into Format Cell, and just add a year to it, and it'll open it up, and a year here to open it up. And that's it. So now it'll never expire. So if you actually wanted to have these expire and release, so if you want to do like a month worth of home game schedules, you could do a release and expire, release and expire per week. The weight, this basically shows how it stacks on the page. So something with a higher weight will stack higher on the page than something with a lower weight. So for instance, the CMF Revolution and Poco Warriors will stack right at the very top because they're set with a 100 weight. And you would basically do that within each grouping block. Because we have a mini boys schedule and a mini girls schedule, you can just set the weighting within each other. Template ID, just leave it as -1. It's basically saying don't render a template for this. Enabled, Y stands for yes for enabled. N stands for no for enabled. When you're making imports, what I normally do, and I've been using this quite a bit for your import files, is when you have a new grouping of teams to add, what I normally do is I just add this column first to find out how many rows it takes up. So let's say it only takes up to about here. Then you know that these 3 rows won't be used anymore. So what you want to do is you almost just want to put an N here, and knowing that you're still going to upload the file with the following rows as not being enabled. So when you go back to the admin site, if you actually want to just delete those items for future, you can just do that from here. But it'll show as inactive. It's easier to find. Entity ID. This is just leave it at -1. Classifications, you can see how this is classified. There'll be mini boys and minis girls. So it's rendering based on weight and classification. This is how we're able to get it into these 4 different blocks here. So for divisional, it'll be divisional girls, divisional boys. And it's got to be written exactly like this. So it's better to copy and paste, because if you change it and you write girl instead, it'll just create a new category that won't output. Address, all this stuff, it's just system default. So what I normally do is I just hide this just so I got the room. And then from this point forward, it's really just, once you know how many rows you need from the initial one, what I've been doing is I know that these guys are, I still have to upload them because they're still there with an ID, but they're not going to render themselves. So just for sake of this, I'll highlight it. And then what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste from the original schedules, your age, your division, your home team. All of this is stuff that you guys have been supplying me here. You know, the start time and all this sort of stuff here. What I would suggest is that we get into a proper naming convention so that it's the same for each week. So if it's whether it's uppercase SAT or lowercase SAT, we should make sure we're all on the same page, and this goes between divisional and girls. So this is what outputs right here. As far as the field status, so this is the ID that renders from this, and basically what it's doing is it's rendering it from another application on the site. So this is the main area that's where it's rendering the like it's a custom app, and all you're doing is you're rendering this ID for the field status. So it's basically just got to associate with that field. So I've actually built an field status ID page for you, so you can actually see. So just highlight and just get rid of all these guys here. So what you can see is, you can see that here's the ID for this park, and so what I've been doing is I've just been sort of keeping one spreadsheet next to each other, and using this is a fantastic function that Excel has, is just highlighting all the fields, go to data, go to filter, which I'm sure you guys already know about, but in case you don't, and then using the field name field, so uncheck everything. And for instance, Miller Park is really just one field ID here. So if you were to choose Miller Park and Miller Park, and then from here, you've got all the Miller Parks listed. You just go in and grab the Miller Park ID, copy it, and you just paste it, and that's it. Again, if you're just doing Monday, it'd be, or let's get a bigger one here. If you're doing Town Center North, we all know it's, regardless if it's broken up into a bunch of fields, it's still Town Center North. We're looking for the Town Center North ID, which is right here, and away you go. So basically, this is going to render whatever the field status is on this page will render on the home page for you. And it's just an automatic field here. So pretty much this spreadsheet is set up, as such. I'll get rid of the filter here. Make sure you save it as a CSV. You do need to save it or upload it as a CSV file. So if you want to maybe work in Excel to start, and then when you're ready to upload it, save it as a CSV. That might be the easiest way, so you can keep all your formatting. But yeah, if you don't have anything in this area, it just won't output on right here. So yeah, so hopefully, and then basically once you've got this file ready to go, and we just log into the admin site under web apps. We go to Home Schedules and import items, and you're basically just choosing the file. You find where the file is located, upload it. I'll just do it for the sake of for this video here. Fields schedules. Go to schedules, January 29th minis, and if I hit next, it'll ask me. It'll say, "Are you sure you're okay with the download?" You say yes, and basically this is a verification point. I'm not going to go past this point, but this is just kind of shows you before you actually import the data that things are being rendered okay. If for some reason you haven't changed the date in that Excel spreadsheet, it will keep this at 1999, in which case when you import it, it will not show up because it'll basically telling the system that it's expired. So we're just going to go out of that. We don't need that. And so again, here's how it all lays out. So certainly if you can avoid using uppercase, it'll save some space because it's, as you can imagine, this needs to render down into a mobile format as well. So the more real estate we can give these guys, the better here. So hopefully this video was helpful, and yeah, we'll see you next recording.